This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Talk the facts and let opinions blow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with a mic and a plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to 2026. It's the New Age Outlaws, I guess, the Potsy and Tino Show. That's right. That's Tino Gray. I'm Rob Potsy Potchak. It's been a while since we did it, so I even forgot the intro. It's just how it goes. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the air. It's been 3 weeks since Tino has been on the air. I see that we don't have anybody in the audience just yet, but hopefully that'll change in the next couple minutes. Oh, there we go. We got a comment already from Chris Barrett. Film studio. What up, cousin Potsy and cousin Tino? Well, that's what we're going to get into, Chris Barrett. So why don't you start telling us what's been up with you? Because obviously the segment that we always start the show off with, Tino, is what's up with you.
So, trying to think.
And yeah, you got before Christmas all the way to now.
God, it seems like everything's running together. So Christmas.
You want me to start?
No. So
no.
The week of Christmas, right?
Yeah.
We did. Did we do the week of Christmas that Monday?
I did. You did not. No, that was my birthday, so we didn't do that week.
All right. So Haley came home. So Haley came home with Haley came home and her boyfriend came too because he has family like uncles that live here, and then his mom and sister came up too. They have family from out of town, so normally he would stay at his uncle's. Haley would stay here, but because he had so many people come out of town at his uncle's house, he crashed here. And so while he was here, Haley had gone somewhere, and it's just me, him, and Cole. And he goes, and we're watching TV, and you can just kind of tell. I was like, "Oh shit." Because he kind of
here it comes.
You can feel him. You know, you can just feel somebody just looking at you, and I'm like, "Shit, he's building up courage. He's building up nerve. He's building up nerve."
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, can I?"
And by the way, folks, Tino hasn't talked to me about any of this stuff.
Oh, I thought I told you.
No, but I'm assuming I know I know what happened here.
I did tell you.
I don't think so, man. We really haven't talked.
So he was like, "Yeah, me and Haley been together 5 years, and I want to get your permission to ask her to marry me." And
you said, "Oh, hell no."
So I was sitting there, I was like listening to him. Nicole was sitting there, and I was like, "Look, dude, it's my baby girl." I said, "I just need, you guys make sure, because this marriage shit, it ain't for the weak." I said, "You need to make sure you got your stuff and make sure you got everything in order. You know what I'm saying? You can take care of each other. You got you don't have a job. She's got to carry it. She don't have a job. She, vice versa. You guys got to be prepared for all that, mentally prepared, finances and all this other stuff. It's not something just to jump into lightly." I'm like, "If you think you can do that," I said, "I have no problem with it." So he goes, "Okay." And I'm like, "Well," and Haley, and we were like, "So this is the week of Christmas." So we knew that Haley had got him for Christmas because and he knew that Haley had got him a big present, but he didn't know what it was. So we're like, "Well, when are you going to propose?" He goes, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see what Haley does." Right. So I think he had an idea that she was doing something big. Because my father-in-law let it spill, kind of. He was drunk. We were at our Christmas party. So what Haley got him is, he is a Green Bay Packer fan. So she got them tickets. They went to Wisconsin to watch the Green Bay play the Panthers or whatever that game was. And so she got him tickets to go see a game he's never seen. So they want to go. They went to Green Bay to watch Green Bay play at home. So the night before they were going, they went to Lambeau Field. He goes, he said, "Let's just go and check out the field, just check out everything." It was real smooth the way he did it. They had it all decorated for Christmas, and there's like a big decorations outside, and he proposed to her outside of Lambeau Field. So I guess I'm about to have a son-in-law I got a son-in-law for Christmas. So that's cool. She's happy.
Not the present you wanted.
She's happy. Hey, if she's 25, you know.
She's gonna make her own decisions, absolutely.
Yeah. And so he really, and then we were talking, my wife and I were talking, we're like, because we were talking to him and some of the things that we were kind of like, well, Haley said this. He's like, well, no, this is it. I'm like, this heifer. So what she, and I should have known, my daughter can be dramatic sometimes. So sometimes so you don't get both sides of it. So I hear my baby's side, but then I hear his side. I'm like,
now you got to figure out the truth in between.
No, that kind of makes more sense though. Because this side, she's telling me something's missing, right? It's like, yeah, he sounds, but something a little bit. I'm like, well, and then Haley and I normally go, she comes home and we go just daddy daughter, we go shopping and we go looking for Nicole stuff to put in her stock in, you know, just, and it's pretty much just time for me and her just to get out and hang out. And so he stayed back and stayed with Nicole and Matthew, and they, you know, baked cookies and did a bunch of stuff. So, and she was talking to him, and then she kind of told me, yeah, because it might not be, it might be both of them. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever, dude, we'll give it a shot and we'll see. So that, and so then Christmas came. We had we did good. You know, we had, Christmas is good. So that Saturday morning, we were getting up to drive to New York. Well, Friday, her family starts calling like, oh, you guys still coming? We're like, why? Because it's a snowstorm. They got 10 inches. I was like, holy shit. But we're like, we're just going to get up early. We're going 95, right? We're going down 95. It's going to be plowed. It's going to be, salted and all that. And it was. We got up. We got there in about 10 hours, 10 and a half hours. We didn't really see snow till Jersey, and we saw it on the ground. It wasn't snowing. We just saw where it was plowed. And it was like, and we got to New York. It was snow everywhere when we got there. Nicole got out of the car and she fell in the snow. It was funny. And it snowed one more time while we were there, but it only snowed an inch, which was kind of cool. So it was cool. We spent the week there. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, we hung out with her family, more of her, like her cousins and her aunt and her cousins and their kids and stuff. Then we drove back and worked last week, and we picked up her car, got her car back, and so it's all looking good and as good as new. So that's about it. And trying to still playing catch up work, come back to work, got 150 fucking emails and phone calls you got to return, and so still playing catch up. And it's the first part of the year, so we have to. I work for a nonprofit, so we have grants. So I got to work on a grant. Well, renew a grant that we have,
so you can stay.
Yeah, so that's from this GCC. So that's the Governor's Commission. That's from the state. And then we got another. We have my department. We have a board, and it's like the Women's Council, and they govern everything we do. So first of the year, we got to renew that license. So I got to have that stuff in by the 30th of this month to them. And then for the state stuff, I got to have that in on the 30th too. So got a lot of stuff coming toward the end of this month. So trying to play catch up and get everything I need and get my ducks in a row. And, being the boss is fun sometimes. And sometimes I'm like,
I remember those days, man. You don't want anybody else doing it because then they can tell you what to do, but you also don't want to do that work.
But I love my job. I do love my job. And but like, I don't like grants. I don't like that part. I like the helping the people and, making sure everybody's happy, making sure my guys are doing what they need to do and we're helping the clients and da-da-da-da-da. But all the reports, I'm like, nah. But it comes with it. It comes with it. I'm just thankful I have a job. So
I hear you there.
Honestly, in this, because it's rough, man.
Trust me, I think I know.
I'm like, I don't know how you do it, man. I was like, God, I would go crazy.
I think I already have gone crazy, but
so
and so over the past couple of weeks, since I didn't talk to you about anything,
I think I heard about. Well,
I talked to you about one thing, well, two, I guess. I talked to you, but I didn't tell
yes,
the Potsy and Tino army out there. I didn't tell them.
Barrett said I'm about to become Archie. Yeah, probably.
What's that?
He said Tino's about to become Archie, like Archie Bunker. I'm gonna call him Meathead.
Oh, poor Rob Reiner. Poor Rob Reiner. So over the past couple weeks, the reason why we didn't do the show on the 22nd was because it was my birthday. I think I did a show on the 29th.
You did, because I watched it.
I was joking about some of it because on the 22nd I told you, hey, if you want to do a show, we can do one, but I'm going to go out and have a couple of drinks, and that's what you were saying before we got on the air. That I said something that I was like, hey, if you're recording this, Tino was right about this.
That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. It was I called you at like 2:30 in the afternoon that day and said, if you want to do a show, we still can, but you're gonna have to pick me up from Ruckus and take me to my house, because we were supposed to do the show on my birthday from my place, and you were like, Rob, if we even try to do a show, you're not going to be capable, and I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And by the end of that night, I was absolutely incapable.
Yeah, because I came and saw you at Ruckus, and I'm like, yeah, we.
and I kept trying to get Tino to do things like go sing karaoke with me.
Like, no, dude.
And he's like, no. I was like, I'll even take an Uber home from there. Like, and he's like, no, I'm not going. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I didn't do it either. I just went home.
You didn't.
No. So Christmas came and went. Had a blast there, as always. And then, like for my birthday, my family typically goes out for a really nice dinner, right?
Peddler, right?
At the Peddler, yeah. And we didn't get to do that until like January 3rd.
Yeah, I thought it was late that you put that picture up.
Yeah. It was really late this year. The nice thing was we basically got to say that it was Drew's birthday dinner, my birthday dinner, my sister's birthday dinner, because they all kind of converge around the same time frame. And like New Year's, we the family all got together over at my sister Michelle's house. We got to use her Bartesian automatic bartender machine, which is pretty cool. And I got really mad at Uber because I ordered an Uber to go home from their house, and it was like $15, and I was like, okay, it's a 3 mile ride, but $15 for an Uber, not too bad. And then all of a sudden it was like
$5 a mile.
It kept getting canceled, and they kept raising the price. Then they cancel it, and they raise the price. Then they cancel it, and then they raise the price. So my nephew Drew had one of his friends who was not drinking that entire night take me home instead. But I mean, by the time it was all said and done, my $15 Uber ride would have been $40 to go 3 miles down the road.
Wow.
And I mean, I ordered it like 12:05, So I threw a fit at them. I went on Twitter and I just started like blasting them about stuff. And their corporate people were like sending me messages and everything, being like, we're so sorry, but you can understand that the rates go up, blah, 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 based on how many. And I'm like, fuck you. This is bullshit. You're sitting here telling, like, I literally ordered it. It said it was 3 minutes away, and then they canceled. I was like, this is bullshit. Like I don't know what kind of business you're running, but what if people really need to get somewhere and they're dependent upon you guys and you don't deliver? Like, that's bullshit. Like any other business in the world, if that's the case, you go out of business at some point. Uber, it's just like, man, fuck it. They'll find another ride. They'll just drive themselves and get in a car accident. Whatever the case might be. Anyways. So that was my New Year's Eve. But then on like the 3rd, my family went to the Peddler Steakhouse in Raleigh, which is literally my favorite steakhouse to go to. And for the second year in a row, my sister Michelle, Shorty, as we call her, she ordered a dual meal with my mom. My mom ordered the chicken. Michelle ordered the filet. Michelle orders the filet medium rare, and it comes out overcooked. And Michelle has to send the steak back
for a second
year in a row, right? And what's funny is all the guys are eating prime rib, and we're all like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is the best thing." Like, and she's like waiting for her food to get there, and we're all almost done, and the steak finally comes out. And she's like, "Oh, it's finally cooked properly." So she gives half the steak to my mom. My mom gave her half the chicken. So it wasn't like she wasn't eating during the time frame, but my mom's chicken was dry because it was overcooked. Her steak was overcooked the first time. Then she gave half of it to my mom. My mom salts the thing, and it literally was like someone just dumped an entire thing of salt on it. I was like, "Mom, what are you doing? Like are you trying to be like a cow with a salt lick? What is this bullshit?"
Blood pressure, man. Blood pressure.
And but we ended up having a great meal for the rest of us. Stopped over at the little bar area that they've got, had a cocktail afterwards, and then on the way home, I saw a Facebook post from 2016, and I told you this story already, but I'm going to start from the beginning of the story rather than telling you what happened at the end first, like I told you, so that way, like Chris Barrett and whoever else in the audience can actually like really grasp this. So, I get a message or a post that I see from 2016 that has a brand new comment on it. That's why it showed up on my Facebook feed, like near the top. And I read it, and it mentions this guy by the name of Ryan Camacho. And I was trying to remember where I heard that name before, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm in the car with my sister going home from the peddler, and I go, "Hey, Michelle, was the guy that broke into your house twice named Ryan Camacho?" And she goes, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "Well," and then here's where it gets weird. Than it was. This Ryan Camacho guy broke into my sister's house between 2021 and 2023 twice. Then broke into their neighborhood's clubhouse and was arrested for not only breaking in, but also for attempting to steal a case of bottled water. Okay. The guy has had...
Are we allowed to show him, or would that get us canceled?
I mean, did you pull it up? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, you could show it. I mean, it's been all over the news now. You want me to share it?
Can you see it?
Yeah, there we go. This guy right here. Oh, there's my
You see how
this guy right here. No, well, I mean, she's been on all three major news networks now. She's been on NBC, ABC, and CBS about this. This guy broke into her house twice between 2021 and 2024. That post from 2016 was because he had stalking charges against him during that time frame.
Look at that.
Yeah, those are all of his different mugshots. Like he literally is like one of those people that's in a movie that is like the fugitive running away and keeps changing his look. But anyways, so here I'm going to take that down now. Okay.
I did.
So anyways, come to find out that over the New Year's weekend or whatever, the guy is now wanted for murder of a Raleigh teacher from I had told you what school it was. Do you remember what school it was?
No, but I could probably find out. What's it? It was
Ravenscroft.
Ravenscroft, I think that was
Ravenscroft. So this guy who broke into my sister's house twice and had over 22 charges of either breaking and entering, stalking, and kept getting the charges dropped to misdemeanors, to where the most he would spend in jail at a time is 120 days. And in April of last year, they dropped 4 felony charges down to a single misdemeanor that let this guy out. And then over the holiday, he had another charge that they just dismissed, which allowed this guy to break into a woman's house and at 4:30 in the morning kill her. Pretty fucking wild. And for those that don't know, I had a court case last Wednesday, and during that court case, my lawyer got the case dropped, and he did it straight gangster style. He walks in, grabs me, says, "Hey, let's go talk." And anytime I've ever had a lawyer ever tell me, hey, let's go talk, it's normally a bad thing. And by the time we walked halfway down to the elevator, he was like, oh, yeah, your case got dropped. You're good to go. So I started talking to him about this case, the Ryan Camacho stuff. And he said, yeah, my entire law firm has been informed not to touch that case. And I said, well, you might want to touch the case where it's a civil suit from the victim's family towards the state of North Carolina for dropping the ball so many fucking times. And he was like, hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. We might do that. So yeah. And last thing that I did over the past couple of weeks, Tino, is I went to the Ruckus holiday party. And this was last Monday. This is why we didn't do a show last Monday. And it was a dress to impress style party, and I asked my nephew if he wanted to go with me.
Oh, did he dress to impress?
He did. He bought a suit like a month before that, so that he could go to his work's holiday party. So he wore a suit. He didn't wear a tie because I told him I wasn't wearing a tie. So he's like, I'm not wearing a tie then. And so we were both wearing our suits, and he gets tickets when we walk in there, and he's like, what should I get? And for those that don't know, my nephew just turned 21. So like, he said, what should I get with my tickets? And I'm like, whatever the fuck you want, man. Like they're probably just not going to let you drink top shelf. Cause I was like, hey, let me get an Angel's Envy. And they're like, oh, no top shelf. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden one of the managers looked over and goes, no, I got that one. And I'm like, sweet, but then I ended up going to the cheap stuff, like everybody else. But like, my nephew drinks 2 actual drinks, and then all of a sudden he switches to Guinness, and he keeps drinking Guinness. And all of a sudden I'm like, how many of those have you had? And he's like, I don't know. Like I'm on total drink number 8. And I'm like, well, he sounds fine. But then I'm like, hey, we're taking an Uber home. So you have to promise you're not going to throw up in an Uber, because it's like $500 and I will make you pay it. And he's like, okay, I promise I won't throw up in the Uber. And he was fine all the way back in the Uber and everything. And then when we got to my house, he sits on my front porch, like step, because I don't have any chairs or anything out of my front porch. So he sits on the front step, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, the air feels good. Oh, okay, here we go. And he proceeds, he goes, hey, sir, are we going to have a good bourbon? And I was like, I'm going to have a good bourbon. I don't know if you're going to have a good bourbon. And he's like, well, why not? And he goes into the house and he sits on the couch. And 5 minutes into sitting on the couch, like I start seeing his head like hanging back and stuff. So I just, I go and I get me a drink, and I go and get him a garbage pail. And I give him the garbage pail, and he's like, I don't really think I do. And he, and then the next morning he had to be up at like 6 o'clock in the morning so he could be at work by 8. So because he had to go back over to my sister's to get a shower and change and everything else. So yeah, it was pretty funny. And so that was pretty much most of my, the time that we haven't been on the air. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I didn't look to see what any of the comments said. Yeah, the Ryan Camacho thing is really, really weird to me. So, yeah. Tino, the next thing we always talk about is what we're watching. And I know that Brilliant Minds and Law and Order both came back this week, but I don't know if any of the CBS shows did.
I really hadn't. No, the only show that we had, the CBS shows haven't. The only show that I know that comes back is we watched it, and it's an ABC show. Is My High Potential. I love that show. Like I said, I haven't really had a chance to watch a lot of TV, but been watching Young Sheldon. I'm trying to finish that up. I started it and I just never finished it. I'm catching up on Invincible because it's getting ready to come out, and Matthew's into it. So now I'm watching it because we're going to watch the new season together. He keeps asking me to ask you what's your favorite comic. I told him I was going to give you his number, or give him your number. Y'all can talk about comics. Well, what's Rob's favorite comic? Well, what is he? I'm like, he likes this artist. Well, oh, who's that? I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to give you Rob's number.
I have a lot of favorite artists, a lot of favorite comics. I mean, like I'm an old school guy, so I still read a lot of Marvel and DC. So I read Batman, I read Wolverine, I read.
He's in
Uh,
the his favorite is he loves right now he's on a what's the show? He's a huge Daredevil fan. Um he likes the Punisher. Right now it's weird and I want to see if I can find some kind of comics for him. It's so weird. Right now his favorite hero is Mr. Terrific from Superman and there's got to be comics with Mr. Terrific.
there's some. I mean, he's part of the Justice Society, so
Yeah.
you have to find those books.
He loves Mr. Terrific. But other than that he's big into Spider-Man but Daredevil's his dude.
Oh, I forgot to tell you there was one more thing that was what's up with me this week. So today I get up to go get my prescription medications, right? And I had like 4 waiting for me over at CVS. So I did the remote start to start my car up, because it was a little cold last night. So I wanted to make sure that the car was warmed up before I got into it. And I get in and I drive all the way down to CVS, pick up my prescriptions, go to get back in my car won't start.
Oh no.
And I knew that my car battery was getting close to dying, so I went out and I bought one of those mini jumper packs.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. But I also called my sister and Shane because they're right down the road, and they were like, we don't have jumper cables, but if you need, we'll go get jumper cables over at Advance Auto and blah blah blah. And I was like, I got the car started at this point because I used that jumper pack. It used 45% of the battery on the jumper pack, by the way. So,
God, dang.
yeah, I know, right? So I got over to Advance Auto and then proceeded to wait for like an hour as they put a new battery in my car.
That sucks. Well, I'm gonna have to go get new tires for the truck.
I got to get 2 back tires at some point, but and now all of a sudden I've got a check engine light, and it's kind of pissing me off because
Oh no.
well, so anytime I use one of those jumper packs, it typically blows out some sort of fuse.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out what it is, but and Shane actually says that he's got one of those little plug-in things to figure out what the error code actually is. But I was hoping it would just turn off after like 2 days because it could just be like it reset and it's saying, hey, something's wrong because it was reset. I don't know. But yeah, so I had to go buy a brand new car battery today. You know what I watched over the past 2 weeks that I thought was really interesting because it landed on Netflix was a show called Falling Skies. You ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It had Noah Wiley from ER and The Pit in it.
Okay.
And it was basically a post-apocalyptic alien invasion story where there's this group of aliens that have landed on Earth and they're like taking people and doing all this crazy shit with them. It went 5 seasons. It was originally on TNT and it's produced by Steven Spielberg. So I was like, well, it should be pretty good, right? And it's amazing to me at how many of the people like are pretty well-known actors or at least character actors in everything now. But when you saw them on that show, because that show was like 2012 to 2016 or something, like you were like, okay, whatever. Like seeing Noah Wiley in something after ER, it's like, oh yeah, well, you can tell that guy's movie career never took off, right?
Oh,
it's like, well, no, but I mean, George Clooney became the movie guy, and he became let me go ahead and do 8 different TV series. Speaking of which, George Clooney actually said that show, The Pit, that Noah Wiley's on, he would gladly make a guest appearance if they wanted him to, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, I know what I want to ask you about, and I kept seeing it, and while we were away, is Scrubs back? Is that like brand new? So I was like, I gotta ask Rob. And I'm like, I thought it was new. I didn't know if they were like rerun. Like, is this like just
no? They
new?
are bringing Scrubs back for a brand new season with as many of the original cast as they could get. So I mean, it's Zach Braff, it's Donald Faison, Sarah Chalke, Maria, whatever her name is, John C. McGinley playing Cox. The guy that played the Todd is going to be in there. So yeah, and the trailer that I've seen for it, like all of a sudden, it's funny because the trailer I've seen for it is Turk just sits there and goes, JD's here. And he goes looking for him, right? And JD walks in and he goes, there he is. And he's like, and Turk bends over and he's like, come on, buddy. And he jumps on and he's like, Eagle. And then as they start walking off, Turk suddenly goes, my back. And he's like, I'm going down.
And then there's another one where they're all walking through the hospital, like, yeah, Turk and JD are back.
Yeah, he's like, I'm back, baby. And when he sits there and yells that out, they're all like, who the hell are you?
I've never watched Scrubs. I've got to watch it because that's one I know you like. I gotta watch because it was like on for a long time, wasn't it? Like 5 seasons.
So Scrubs went on from like 2001 to 2009.
8 seasons. Oh shit.
Yeah. Now the last season is completely useless. You can just push that one out of your mind sight. But like it even so the thing that it did really well was when so the first 7 seasons of it were, I mean, some of them still hold up today. Like the things that they did were so ahead of their time, it was nuts. Like Turk and JD at one point wear rompers in that. And whoever thought that men would ever in fashion sense wear rompers, right? But they did it between 2001 and 2009. The things that make Scrubs so interesting is the fact that it's still to this day like the most accurate. What's up, Mr. Helios? You got a different name tonight. You're Johnny Storm. It was the most accurate hospital drama that there actually was, even though it was meant to be a comedy. So while they fill everything with comedy to make you laugh, there are some very deep episodes in that show, and it's because they had specific hospital guidelines and stuff. They had actual surgeons as well as attending doctors on site so that they could actually tell them this is what we actually do. So when you actually see them looking at the charts and everything, they're actually following an accurate way that doctors actually are supposed to do it. Because anytime you watch like a show like Suits, they always try to present the law in a way that makes it make sense for everybody, but it doesn't mean that it's really how it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Scrubs really attempted to do that, and Scrubs was actually truly on site at a former hospital. Like they had shut the hospital down, and they ended up using that instead of a studio to make the show. So yeah, and now they're bringing it back. It's the original creator Bill Lawrence is doing it. Zach Braff's actually directing the pilot episode, which I think is pretty funny considering he went on to be a pretty successful movie director after Scrubs.
So I'm trying to find it to where I can watch it. All 9 seasons are on Hulu.
Correct.
So
yeah,
because
it's owned by ABC. So, and even the new season of it, which I think is February 25th, is going to be on ABC and Hulu the next day.
Oh, so they're only 22 minutes. Okay, they're quick watches.
Yeah, it's a sitcom. And I mean, like, but you will find yourself going, I have to watch the next one. And it's one of those shows where while it does move along, it's not like The Simpsons where today's episode means nothing to next week's episode, but it while it does move along, you don't have to watch every episode in order to ever understand what's going on with it.
Did you see what
Chris Barrett keeps saying that's fucked up.
No, he just said it'll wind up on Disney Plus. Hulu is being sunsetted in February, from what I heard.
Yeah.
Really?
So the way that they're doing it with Hulu is Hulu itself as an app won't be available, but on your Disney Plus app, it'll still have a Hulu icon.
Like they do the ESPN.
What's that?
Like they do with the ESPN.
Yeah. And the Brendan Fraser episodes are really good. The episode with Ryan Reynolds is really good. The whole show just, I mean, it deals with how brand new doctors deal with death how they deal with like the overtiredness of being a doctor, how they, it deals with all of it. So, but it does it in such a way that like it's still lighthearted enough, but there's definitely some dark elements to it. Like the Brendan Fraser episodes are some of the best episodes they did, but also some of the darkest episodes they did.
All right. Like I said, I'm on the last season of Young Sheldon, and I was thinking about trying to find Georgie and Mandy get married, but everything I found is only season 2. I can't find season 1, so maybe
That's
I'll
weird.
maybe Scrubs.
Now,
Yes.
did you get a chance to watch this?
Yes.
So why don't you tell me your opinion of it?
I thought they closed it. I thought they did good. I thought that it ended well. I was wondering how they were going to end it and what was going to go, how they were going to go. When how do you think it's long enough to talk about it?
I mean, I do. It's been 2 weeks.
I was mad when I thought they killed Elle. I was like,
well, they may still have.
Okay.
They did it in that Sopranos finale way where it's like, did they or didn't they? Like
I like that the younger kids went downstairs to play D&D. I like the way they tied things up with, I guess they're now adults, like Nancy and all that. Couple of moments, like I said, I'm not really. I think it's I'm getting older. I don't know if I'm getting older and I'm getting more sentimental. You catch yourself like, oh shit, that kind of made me tear up. And I'm gonna tell you what, and you probably know what's the scene where Will was like, I'm different, da 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 da. That scene, and then his brother just like, you got me. I'm like, because you got to think back in the 80s, they could have been like,
yeah, well, it's funny because Robin comes out in like season 3 or season 4 to Steve, and it's like it's a Passover moment, but then all of a sudden Will wants to come out, and it's longer than like the entire Vecna kill scene.
Well, Robin wasn't really a main character. I mean, Will was a main character, and B, if you go back and look, you can kind of tell that he had that he had feelings for dude, and he's going through that. So I mean, it was good. I like my favorite in the show is Dustin. So I like that. I like the Dustin and
the actor that plays Dustin tells this story about how when he was 13 years old, he went to a convention, or not when he was 13, when he was like 17, he went to a convention, and this girl and her mom show up, and the mom tells him that she's had a crush on him since he was 13 years old. How creepy is that shit? Yeah.
Security. Security.
I'm gonna need security back to my hotel.
Another thing that I didn't know, and I watched until I saw it on TikTok, is the dude that played Vecna. The Vecna voice was really his. They didn't have to do any. I was like,
oh, he did something where he was singing like songs on like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah,
and it was just creepy as fuck.
But it was like, yeah, they didn't have to put any kind of vocal anything. He did that with his voice. I'm like, that is amazing.
So my personal feelings on the end of it, I think season 4 was excellent. I think season 5 dropped the ball in some places. I also felt like they left too many things unsolved.
I think they wrapped everything up.
They wrapped up the main stories, but they left other things open. Like what happened to Murray? Like shit like that. Like
the bald eagle.
Yeah, the bald eagle. Like
or Santa Claus called himself.
And I keep seeing this joking meme where it's bald eagle and what was the nickname that he gave Honey Bear or whatever, Sugar Bear,
Snookums,
yeah. So like I keep seeing this thing online where it's like the sequel series we really want to see, Bald Eagle and Snookums. And I absolutely do want to see that series, like a Starsky and Hutch style,
That is
buddy cop, thing would be hilarious.
well, yeah. I think that with the main characters, because was Murray really a main character? He's like a little supporting.
Oh, I know, but like there's just little things that like everything tied up too easily. And what I really, I'll tell you what I did not like. How about that? And it's something specific. That end battle with the giant vagina was.
I'm done with you, bitch.
Hey, I'm not the first person to say it.
The giant vagina.
Well, here's okay. So the joke that I've seen online about that is that Will is the one that created the visual for the mind flare, and the mind flare looks like a giant vagina, and then we find out that Will's gay, right? So he's scared of a giant vagina is what the implication is there. That's obviously not the case.
Ooh.
Again, I'm not the one that came up with this stuff. Sports Illustrated says it. Bleacher Report's been saying.
I'm clocking out. I'm going.
Anyways. So next thing up. Have you seen these? There's 4 of them.
I've only seen 2. No. Well, one I thought was real. Apparently, it was AI. I thought that it was a Thor one.
There is a Thor one that's real.
Oh.
He basically talks to Odin and whatever, and yeah, that one's real.
Yeah, so I saw that. I know the one real one I saw was the Steve Rogers one. What else was there? So there was Thor.
So at this point, 3 of them have been released online. The 4th one should be released tomorrow. I've seen all 4. The first one is Steve Rogers basically packing up his Captain America costume and then picking up a baby, right? Second one is Thor basically looking like the scene in Gladiator where Russell Crowe's character is like walking with his hands through the wheat.
So that is real. I thought somebody told me that.
Yeah, I told you that one's real. The third one. Okay, now I got to remember the third one. The third one is you hear Magneto's voice, and all of a sudden, Patrick Stewart's Professor X shows up, and then they show a scene of Cyclops with basically firing out his optic beam, but he's wearing the 1992 Jim Lee outfit that's like the X-Men 97 costumes.
Okay.
And it's pretty fucking baller, right? And then the 4th one, which will launch tomorrow online, if they all come out at the same time that they're supposed to, is Black Panther, Shuri, and M'Baku, the King of Wakanda now, randomly, and Namor and Namorina, the blue chick from Black Panther 2.
Okay.
They all kind of like just look around and whatever. And then you see M'Baku sit there and say, M'Baku, King of Wakanda. And he puts his hand out. And then you hear Ben Grimm from Yancey Street. And you see Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four shake his hand. And then it says Black Panther and the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. Now there's a rumor that a new one is coming out this week. And it's supposed to actually introduce Doctor Doom. But everything I've seen for that so far looks like it's fake AI stuff online.
Okay.
So the weird thing is that what I've seen for that, some of the footage looks like real footage that someone just seems to have spliced other shit into that they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to fuck with everybody. Like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and shit like that. So it'll be interesting.
Okay.
Landman has one more episode left, and they dropped such a great line this week for people that don't understand pronouns and what we're supposed to be doing, to make sure people feel comfortable with their pronouns. The girl Ainsley in the show, who is the dumb cheerleader, isn't getting along with her college roommate, so she goes to the admissions office to go try to get moved out into a different into a different room where she will actually feel more accepted. And the woman at the admissions is like, it sounds like you and your roommate need to have some conversations. And she says, well, she won't let me. I mean, they won't let me, because obviously she's staying with someone who wants to go by they them. And the woman goes, why do you have such a problem saying they them? And she goes, well, because I don't understand why we're using a plural pronoun for one person. And the admissions officer sits there and says to her, she goes, well, why do you have such a problem with it? And she goes, well, because it's not correct. And the admissions officer goes, what do you mean it's not correct? Like, what would ever give you that belief that it isn't? And she goes, I don't know, maybe the English language.
Wow.
And then she has her mom, played by Ali Larter, show up and basically run the admissions woman down until the admissions woman lets her go stay off campus.
Wow.
That show's so good. And whatever they've got planned for the finale is going to be pretty insane based on some things going on with it. But Tino, I think it's about time that we jump into some pro wrestling talk. So do we want to, I want to talk about something specific before we actually start talking about the actual shows, if you're cool with it. And that is the NXT call-ups. We've now seen Trick Williams on SmackDown. We've seen Javon Evans on Raw. Have we seen any female call-ups?
Yeah, Jordan Grace is on SmackDown.
That's
now.
right. Jordan Grace got picked up on SmackDown this week.
There's one that I'm pissed about, and I don't agree with it, and I think it's stupid as fuck.
What now?
There's one that I'm pissed about. A call-up that I'm pissed about because they fucked it up already.
Hold on. Is it this one?
Yes.
So I'm glad that you said that, because I don't understand why he won the title back if 2 weeks later he's relinquishing the title for a call-up. I mean, is that what you're pissed off about?
No.
So what are you pissed off about?
Saturday night's main event. He was fighting Cody. Drew came out. Oba got into it with Drew, pushed Drew down. Drew is on SmackDown. Oba gets drafted to Raw.
Is that a fact?
Came out. Oba's been drafted to Raw.
Where was that posted? I didn't see that.
Sean Sapp posted it somewhere. Yeah.
Sean Ross Sapp posted it. Because to me, it kind of looked like, now that they've gone to 3 hours on SmackDown, that Oba would be showing up on SmackDown.
I think he's going to Raw. And that's everything I've seen. I think it was, I forget where I saw it. It's on TikTok, but the dude said that he got it from Sean, whatever it is. Sapp.
Sean Ross Sapp, yeah. So here's my issues with the call-ups, right? Right now, Raw and SmackDown have roughly 5 matches per week, right? They roughly show maybe another 5 or 6 talents per episode.
I have another problem. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They did this whole Raw last week, the Upside Down. It was their year. They were trying to bring people in. It's such a big deal. But you motherfucking let Javon Evans sign his goddamn contract during a commercial break. One of their free agents, is going to be the future of fucking WWE, signs his contract during a commercial break.
Well, it's okay. Let me speak on this. I think that there's a reason behind that. And I don't think that it's because it's Javon Evans. I don't think it's because they didn't think that it was special. I think it's exactly the opposite. I think the fact that they dropped that stuff as like snippets on social media means that they got more views of Javon Evans signing his contract than they would have if it was actually on Monday Night Raw.
I still think it's dumb as shit.
I 100% agree with you. I want you to hear me say that.
So
but
stupid.
It is going to get more views in that 30-second spot that they post on like X or on Instagram or on the YouTube channel than it does on Netflix. And maybe they figured Netflix already has the show, so we're going to drop this as one of these special moments on one of the socials because it just gets better views on that stuff.
All right.
But I agree with you. I do want you to know that I agree with you on it.
Yeah, that's just, I was like, what? What? And now I was, you were texting back and forth with me and VZ, and I've noticed too, now that I went on Netflix, all of a sudden I've got this influx of WWE PLEs and backlog. I'm like, the fuck?
And no easy way to find what you want.
No.
Like,
so
for those who don't know, WWE, their Peacock deal ran out, which I wonder if that means that the NXT PLEs are now going to be on Netflix. But I don't know. In fact, if I were WWE, I'd probably put them on YouTube because I think they'd actually do better on YouTube than they will on Netflix.
No, because I think NXT is better than the main roster. Sometimes I think they might want to go ahead and put those on Netflix too.
Well, but they get paid for their YouTube channel. They get paid per view.
Just put it all in one plate. I don't want to watch YouTube here, Netflix here, fucking ESPN here. Fucking put it somewhere.
So folks, I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I use something called Proton VPN, and if you have a Google TV,
all right, Stephanie, man,
there is. Hey, we're not paid by them like she is. I can flat out say this. So obviously NordVPN is pretty well known, but there is a smaller one out there called Proton VPN. It is free to use, no ads or anything, so you can use it free. You get better service with it if you actually use their paid version. But I showed Tino and VZ that like last week. Well, I didn't show you because I know how much you hate spoilers. But at 2:00 in the afternoon on Friday, I was watching SmackDown, and I totally, I don't have cable. So at this point, if I want to watch NXT, the easiest way for me to watch it, because I don't have an antenna hooked up to my TV or anything else, is to watch it through the VPN and watch it on Netflix. I can watch it on the CW app the next day, but then it gets overloaded and inundated with a ton of commercials. But I can totally watch it on Netflix. Now, it's funny because the international stream, the international usage of WWE, when you see it, it's got a SmackDown vault where you click on that and it's got all the episodes of SmackDown. It's got an NXT vault. You can go into all of those. But they're like, I don't know what their thought process is in trying to get these PLEs in a way that make them easy to watch, because like the first thing I did was pull up No Way Out 2002, which was obviously the NWO first appearance in WWE, and I just wanted to see whether or not it would play it, what language it was in, whatever, because if I'm using a VPN saying I'm in the Netherlands, I obviously know that they speak English, but if I accidentally ended up with like the Spanish one, do I have the ability to change it and put it into English? And the answer is yes. One of the cool things that I did notice about it was that when I was watching SmackDown, when it would go to a commercial break for SmackDown, it would say, "We'll be right back," and it would have it in English, and then it would switch to all the different languages just so that they could have the same graphic for all of it. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, so Chris Barrett just said even with an antenna, you don't always get CW. It's true. I live close enough to where I don't even know if I need an antenna to get it most of the time, but I just don't use the whatever the digital signal, regular signal coming into my house is. So everything I do is either through my internet or whatever. So anyways, that's just me with that stuff. Where to go? So anyways, but yeah, so we've had Jordan Grace called up. It looks like they're holding off on Blake Monroe right now. I thought that was going to be one that they were.
Are they calling her up?
What? No, I think that they're holding off. JC Jane, I heard that they're holding off. Now, granted, they could be moved up by WrestleMania time, but it looks like they're planning something big for Stand and Deliver. Is that the one at WrestleMania weekend?
I think so.
Yeah. At the same time, with all the male call-ups, that division is like barren. I mean, you got Ethan Page and who? Miles Bourne.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Miles Bourne's called up before too long.
And I think they're going to start calling them up because if you notice, and we'll probably talk about it when we go to to talk about NXT, when Oba left that belt in the ring, I don't think they really paid too much attention, but Tony D'Angelo was standing in the crowd and looking in the ring at the belt. So I'm wondering if they're going to push him.
Well, I mean, he's been gone for a while, so I'd be happy to see the Don back, but I don't even know if he's the Don anymore, if he's using a new gimmick, because there was talk that they're prepping him for a new gimmick so that way when they do call him up, he's got something new to use. My issue with their call-ups is this, though. Like, if Oba goes to Monday Night Raw doesn't really have room for him right now. SmackDown does with a 3-hour broadcast, but they don't really add more into what they're actually planning for when they do SmackDown at 3 hours versus 2 hours. 2 hours feels like the exact same show as 3 hours, just spread out further. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, so now you've got all these new people coming up. Well, what does that normally mean for WWE, Tino?
So they're going to start releasing people.
And obviously, right after WrestleMania, they normally release whoever wants to go, right? We just saw Matt Cardona get hired by the company.
And he's back as Matt Cardona this time and not Zack Ryder.
Like we're going to talk about that when we talk about SmackDown, but I did like how they did it, kind of like they did the Prince Devitt to Finn Balor change, where they brought him in with the woo woo woo, and then all of a sudden they then changed it to Always Ready music.
And in his backstage interview, he did say, "I left here Zack Ryder, and I came back as Matt Cardona." So he did tip his hat and kind of mention the Zack Ryder character, and which I thought was cool. I didn't know they were going to do that, but that was cool that they did.
I think you're right. At the same time, and we'll definitely talk more at length with this during SmackDown's talk, but I don't see him getting the Cody treatment from coming back. Like I don't see him getting the Drew McIntyre. Let's put the rocket in his ass. I'm worried that he comes back in and he's immediately mid-card again. So speaking of that, how about we jump into results from shows? Ready?
Yeah.
So and I really don't want to talk about like the actual results, not and maybe some of the things from the episodes, but not necessarily like all of the episode. So
That's
like, yeah. There's been too much going on, and so Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. By the way, Raw last week. I forget where it was from, but I think it was still in the United States last week.
It was Barclays Center. It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, because it was the 1 year anniversary of the Netflix show. They were at Barclays in Brooklyn. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley defeated the Kabuki Warriors to become tag team champions. Solid match. Really enjoyed it. And I'm okay with the result. I thought that like I don't mind the women's tag team titles actually being bounced around a little bit more, because it at least still means that they're using the women tag teams.
Yes.
next up, and so they were also doing the one night only Stranger Things theming for all of WWE, and this next match really made me feel like we were in the Upside Down because it was Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Intercontinental Championship. They had just come out with brand new merchandise for Maxine that said iconic, but it had the IC and then it said champ. So it said iconic champ, which really feels like it should have been Peyton Royce or Billy Kay using that. But anyways, iconic champ, and then they have Becky Lynch cheat to win by putting the feet up on the ropes.
I think they mentioned it too because they kind of, if you weren't listening to commentary, he kind of said it jokingly, but I think it was real. And Maxine just got married, and they were like, "Well, she can go on her honeymoon now." So I don't know if
well, she was there. So I know I said I wasn't going to talk about Raw, but she was at Raw tonight. So
that's whatever. And I think they're probably realized they fucking dropped the ball with the AJ, and I think AJ is going to come back and win that belt from Bex. Probably.
Well, and you and I talked about how AJ coming in to do that, although we also thought that AJ was supposed to be a full-time performer, and she's now had two matches. And she's been there since October.
Yeah.
So that's pretty odd to me. But this was the first moment of the night where I was like, well, that was kind of upside down for what I was expecting. And the reason why I say this is because I felt like it was the perfect moment to pull that old, she had her feet on the ropes. She's got the title. She's walking down the ramp. The referee sees the video package that shows that Becky had her feet on the ropes. And then the referee goes, no, get back in the ring.
They don't do that anymore because supposedly the ref's decision is final, even if he does see that.
Except this would have been the perfect moment for Jessica Carr to come out and actually grab that title and be like, no, get back in the ring. I talked backstage with Pierce. This match is going to continue. And that could have kept the Becky versus Jessica Carr thing going. Because we know that Jessica Carr is wrestling in AAA and stuff like that right now. So it'd be perfect for her to sit there and finally come out from under the mask and wrestle against Becky Lynch. But I didn't like the result. I thought that why put the belt on Maxine for a couple weeks? Although Becky Lynch has been doing an amazing job on social media, like I just didn't get it. So again, it felt upside down to me.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan defeated Lyra Valkyria. Match was only 8 minutes and 56 seconds long, but it was nice to see Liv back in the ring.
I was okay with her winning that.
Yeah. I mean, she needed to get a win, and obviously right now they've been using Lyra as more of a tag team competitor anyway. So I felt okay with that. Surprisingly, though, so a 2.5 hour Monday Night Raw had a total of 4 matches. 3 of them were all women matches, which I thought was great. But then we had CM Punk versus Braun Breaker, and I put up one of these specifically for this because I did think this was going to be one of the things that we talked about and had a little bit of time for. So I want your opinion of how you felt the match went.
Before we do that, though, we were talking about the women's matches. Before we do that, we did have Stephanie Valkyrie come out with her boot. Her ankle. I thought she was going to relinquish title, but she didn't. But once again, Raquel Rodriguez attacked her from behind. So are we pushing Raquel to be the next champion?
I don't have a problem with that. Raquel's really put in the work to look decent, and I love that they're calling her Big Mommy Cool now.
So I'm wondering if she gets that belt. And remember, if she's the one they push out of Judgment Day because they're looking like Liv and Roxanne are getting closer. And I wonder if they push Roxanne out. Not Roxanne, Raquel out, and then Liv goes after Raquel for that title.
I don't know. Right now, since both JD and Dom Mysterio are both out with injuries, I would love to see the Judgment Day just be an all-female cast. So kicking Finn Balor out would be where I would go with it. and maybe even bring in another female, like I could see that happening.
See,
And I mean, well, like we had Damage Control and we had the Kabuki Warriors that had all 3 Japanese women in it for a little while, but we really haven't had a strong, dominant women's faction at all. So I'd be all for that.
Put Ivy with them.
Ivy would be a good one. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'd definitely be okay with Ivy Nile. Especially since she's such a little firecracker. The okay, now the world title match. New Raw, new year. Perfect time for Braun Breaker to step up, win that championship, and become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But we're in the upside down, Tino.
I do like that they made Braun look strong. He held his own. That was a good long match. And he looked strong. It was a couple times he looked like he was going to do it, and I thought he was going to do it.
He speared CM Punk so hard
Out of
that
his
CM Punk's boot broke off of his foot. And CM Punk even said it in an interview. He said, I looked down and I saw that my boot was over here, and I thought, oh God, I broke my ankle. And then I looked again, and my foot was still there, but the boot was off.
Damn.
He hit it, and even said that son of a bitch hit so hard he knocked me out of my boot. And he's like it was still laced up, it was still tight as shit. Like he knocked me out of my boot. So, yeah.
Well, he's hitting you at 23 miles an hour, so I imagine so.
That's true. So I liked the match for the most part, but between the two of them, the sloppy wrestler was CM Punk. I was very like if it had been CM Punk versus Jey Uso, CM Punk's kicking Jey Uso in the head for some of these mistakes.
Yeah, so Braun should have kicked him in the head.
Absolutely. Like we even got the Hurricane Rana off the top rope where CM Punk fell the first time, and they're like, "Oh, he blocked it," and it's like that motherfucker didn't block that shit. He fell.
Or no, or did Braun slip?
I think because CM Punk was slipping, Braun Breaker slipped too. But then he ran up and he landed on his fucking head.
Yes, but then he went and did it again.
And then he went and did it again, which, by the way, is like what you're always told not to do.
And I was about to say, who was I watching? Was it Maven? It was going over that match. He said,
I think it was either him or Stevie Richards.
Stevie Richards. They were like, if you mess up, that's letting the crowd know, hey,
we draw attention to your fuck up.
Yeah,
like if CM Punk had just been like, okay, I'm gonna fall off of this, and now you're gonna just throw me into the ropes, and we're just gonna continue the match. Fine. But no. So, but again, the sloppy wrestler here was CM Punk. And I feel bad for Braun because of it, because Braun looked like he was, firing at all cylinders. And then they still went GTS 1, 2, 3, and Braun Breaker loses the match when it was the perfect moment to start a new era.
Put him over.
Yeah. So I was a little disappointed by that. All right, let me pull up NXT. We obviously already talked about Braun Breaker. So this was New Year's Evil, Tino.
Okay.
And the matches that we had on the card were Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame, Thea Hale versus Blake Monroe for the North American Championship, JC Jane versus Kendall Gray for the Women's Championship, and Obafemi versus Leon Slater, who's a TNA wrestler, for the NXT Championship. So the show opened with a special video looking back on 2025. As officials tried to separate the women, Ricky Saints' music hit and made his way to the ring. He said it looked like that match would be put on pause, so he decided to give the crowd a gift by kicking off the show. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame ended with
Tatum.
Tatum Paxley beating Izzy Dame when she hit a 450 followed by her finisher for the pin. It's nice to see them finally giving women like Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame the opportunity, because I feel like they had so many other women at the top of the card for so long that you never really got to see these two. Am I right?
Yes.
Ava frantically told the production crew to play the video of Dame and Paxley. Dame's powerbomb looked good, even though she didn't get Paxley all the way up. Then we had JC Jane versus Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is definitely going to be the next big star in
Yes.
NXT. If she's not already, right?
But I thought she was winning that title.
Henley and Reed got involved to cause a distraction and break up the armbar, but Gray recovered and locked it back in. JC Jane escaped, and with a little help from Henley, she then hit her finisher. Is Fallon Henley the best looking woman in NXT right now?
There's quite a few of them.
But she never looks bad. You know, whereas even Blake Monroe, like, they purposely started making her look disheveled and everything because she lost that title. She looks like a hot mess. So JC Jane maintains the women's championship. Thea Hale open challenge because Blake Monroe is not allowed to go after the title for her rematch.
Yep.
And what do we get?
Izzy Dame comes back out and beats her.
She pulls the old Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, losing to Randy Orton and then coming back and winning the title with the Money in the Bank.
Oh.
So Izzy Dame was on Busted Open After Dark after that with Bully Ray, and she talked about how she was a volleyball player before it and how she is currently banned from the country she was playing professional volleyball in because she broke her contract.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And all because her mom was like, yeah, you should just go to the WWE. It'd be a better idea for you. Ethan Page comes out, says some stuff. Joe Hendry demanded a no disqualification match with Dion Lennox for next week. So that'll be tomorrow. Obafemi versus Leon Slater.
It's one of those matches you already knew the ending to. You know I hate those matches.
Well, we did and we didn't. Because Obafemi leaves the title in the ring on the way out. Should this have been a match against another NXT wrestler that they could have put over here, like a Josh Briggs or a Miles Bourne?
I think they did it right, because now probably what they'll do is they'll do a tournament and they're still putting over NXT talent.
Well, I think what they have to do here now, because obviously I would say probably 3 of the top 4 names in NXT for the men's side just got called up. You know, and I only say 3 of the 4 because Ricky Saints or Ethan Page could be the 4th of those, you know, like, and that technically means that 3 of the best 5, I guess. But I guess what they have to do now is they really have to make you see that there are new talents coming up that can give these other 2 guys a run for their money, because otherwise you're literally looking at Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, and right now they're both heels.
Yeah.
So they got to have some baby faces here, right?
And it looks like from the looks of it, I think they're getting ready to turn Miles Bourne heel.
He probably needs it. You know, and that's the thing that NXT likes to do.
Is listening to Ethan, and if you notice, this past couple of weeks, he's been wearing those dark, black suits. I think it's like foreshadowing. I think he's about to turn heel.
Well, and that's the thing that NXT has always seemed to do is they always seem to, specifically with the men, not as always with the women, but we saw it with Roxanne Perez, where she had a title run as a babyface, then she had a title run as a heel, and it was really basically to see if she could do both when she got to the main roster. So Miles Bourne, obviously, they're high on the kid. They think that he's got the talent and everything. He probably, unfortunately for him, is going to need a mouthpiece on the main roster, but it's not like they don't have them to give him, right? So, all right, AEW.
Yeah, not too much on.
No, I agree. I don't think there's too much, but I do want to talk about Moxley.
One thing,
okay,
and I don't remember if it was Collision or Dynamite. Jack Perry had to find new tag team partners because they jumped
video
jet speed. And he brought out, not only did he bring them out, he brought out the old school super kick party,
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks, yeah. The Young Bucks. He brought them out, and they're old, so now they're faces and everybody loves them.
Well, at least they did it better than they did with Moxley.
Yeah. All right. So that's all I want to say. You go ahead. There's not much I want to say about it.
Well, I wanted to talk about Moxley because it's been so long since I talked to you that they randomly turn a guy that literally tried to murder people in the middle of the fucking ring into a babyface without ever having him get his ass kicked to the point where it's like he needs to be a babyface now.
But is he a babyface? He's still running with the Death Riders, dude. The Death Riders are still heel as fuck.
Yeah, but he's getting cheered and he's saying all the right things now.
And
these guys that work these matches when I couldn't bring out the Death Riders to help me win these matches, they all worked their asses off and they deserve a round of applause. Fuck him, man. Like this like Jonathan Coachman said it, or maybe it was Sam Roberts. I don't know. One of the two of them said it this week. They were like, oh, no, it was Nick Nemeth that said it. He goes, I bet what happened was Tony Khan told Jon Moxley at the end of the Continental Classic, hey, or not the end of the Continental Classic, but when he lost the title, right? He said, Tony Khan probably said, all right, now go take like 6 weeks off. And Jon Moxley's like, I don't want to take 6 weeks off. I want to wrestle on Wednesday. And Tony Khan's like, well, fuck. Like, he's my highest paid guy. If he wants to wrestle, I'm going to have him wrestle. Instead of doing the smart thing and having him disappear for 6 weeks. So the entire, like, we're just supposed to forget that he literally put bags over people's heads and strangled them. Took belts and wrapped them to the point that they could not breathe and were turning purple in the face. Set a man on fire. And we're just, and I talked about this 2 weeks ago when you weren't here, but Tino, this has to be the worst babyface turn I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the Death Riders still haven't kicked him out.
Because he's got a title now.
Perfect time to kick him out. What do you mean, Moxley? These guys, just a month ago, you were strangling that guy, and now you're telling me that he's a good dude and he deserves to be cheered? Get the fuck out of here.
You gotta tell me.
Dude, it's fucking ridiculous. And people are cheering him now. People used to get mad at WWE because Vince McMahon would say, people don't remember 6 months ago. Well, motherfucker, when it comes to AEW, I do remember 6 months ago. And I remember when Jon Moxley literally set Darby Allin on fire. I remember when Jon Moxley literally strangled the life out of Bryan Danielson with a bag. And yet I'm just supposed to sit there and go, well, he wrestled his ass off in the Continental Classic, so I should cheer that motherfucker now. Shut the fuck up. It is the worst babyface turn I've ever seen. There is no reason for the turn. There is no reason for the cheering.
Agreed.
I just don't get it. At least when it comes to MJF, he's so good on the microphone that it's hard to boo him. And he's such a good heel.
Oh,
Literally telling people when he's giving an autograph to a handicapped kid in a wheelchair, he's like, "What? You're not going to stand up to talk to me?" Like when he says shit like that, it's so good that it's hard not to actually sit there and be like, "Well done." You know? And by the way, he got called out for that. Mark Henry almost went up to beat the shit out of him when he heard that MJF said that to a kid in a wheelchair. And he walks up and he goes, "What the fuck you think you're doing?" And he goes, hold on a second, Mark. Did you see the look on the guy's face? He knew it. He knew. And he goes, all right, that's fine. I'll let it go this time. But Mark Henry was gonna pound him.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. A Continental Championship Eliminator match: Jon Moxley versus Shelton Benjamin.
Are you Shelton?
20-minute match. Moxley defeats Benjamin by pinfall. While the match was great, the aftermath of a frustrated MVP may have bigger implications for AEW than the contest itself. With Bobby Lashley out with injury again, the Hurt Syndicate need to go back to recruiting. The show started with Justin Roberts welcoming Jim Ross because they were in Oklahoma.
He looked rough.
What's up?
Jim Ross looked terrible.
Well, dude, he did just get over a bout with cancer. Another bout with cancer. The Demand versus Jungle, Jack Perry, and the Young Cucks. This I think was all that stuff you were talking about. Perry, Matt, Nick defeated Ricochet, Leona, and Khan by pinfall. Apparently, Bleacher Report really liked the match because they gave it an A-. Mercedes Moné is embarrassed again for Willow Nightingale's title celebration. I do like that Mercedes is allowing herself to be the Chelsea Green of AEW every so often, but not when her title's on the line. Bandito versus Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara.
They gave that match an A. I bet it was an A. Like those two can obviously go in the ring.
It was a good match. I did watch that match.
Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir. Storm defeats her by disqualification in AEW. What is that? The 5th disqualification of all time in AEW?
I don't know.
It's close. They gave the match a D+.
Good.
Yeah. Castagnoli ripped off his shirt as he arrived in one fluid motion. Oh, and this was the moment when Orange Cassidy had his "I'm going to flirt with both Tony Storm and Marina Shafir." Or not Marina, but Mina Shirakawa, when he picks them both up and they're both just like
so stupid.
We got an Andrade sighting.
Yep. The Don Callis family.
Yep. Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland versus the Ops. Hangman and Swerve defeated them by submission. I hear a rumor that Hobbs may be on his way out of AEW and WWE is strongly pursuing.
For what? What they're not gonna do shit with him.
WWE?
Yeah,
he'd be an NXT champion. It's more than he is right now.
They keep putting in it. They need to stop sending everybody to NXT and start putting some people in the main roster.
But they just did. They called up half their men's division. Right now's the perfect time for him to go to NXT and be a champion. Smack down. Oh, and Jake Doyle. Jake Doyle in AEW. I'm a little sad to see this one. I liked him in TNA.
They weren't doing anything with him in TNA.
They were not, but I think it's because he hadn't re-signed a contract.
Mm.
And you know as well as I do that when your contract is up, they just seem to relegate you to nothing unless they're thinking, "Hey, we'll get him to re-sign on that last day." Like heck, Karrion Kross, his last day, he had a match against Sami Zayn.
That's true.
But anyways, here we go. SmackDown. Your matches for the night. Julia versus Alexa Bliss, the Wyatt Six versus the MFTs, Trick Williams versus Ray Phoenix, and Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. But the show opened with Randy Orton making his way to the ring and being cut off by Trick Williams.
Whoop that trick.
And I'm going to tell you, well, I'm going to start with this. The German crowd sounded lackadaisical. They did not have that, they did not have that same fire behind them that you normally hear on these European tours. I don't know if it's because it was a bigger arena and they were further away from the actual wrestling. You know, because a lot of times if they do like a stadium show, you don't get the same you don't get the same sound reaction.
I thought the pops were good, and they did the whole sing along with Randy's song. They did the whoop that trick with Trick.
But it didn't sound as loud to me. Now, maybe I just didn't have my volume up. I don't know, but I heard the voices perfectly fine.
Mm.
So I don't know. It just didn't sound as loud. But Trick Williams and Randy Orton decide to have a little face off, a little skirmish, a little melee, a little back and forth, if you will, and it ends with the Miz getting an RKO somehow.
Twice.
What? Right, but it's like he's talking to Trick, and boom, he hits the Miz with 2 RKOs.
Well, no, he's talking to Trick, and Trick tried to jump him, and he did that middle rope DDT on Trick. And then as he's posing, his music's going, the Miz comes in and tries to hit him with the skull crushing finale. And then
how is it that in the 20 years that Randy Orton's been there, they've never named that Hangman's DDT?
I don't know.
There, I just named it, the Hangman DDT, because he's hanging him, and then he just nails him with it. In fact, Hangman Adam Page should probably start using it and call it the Hangman's DDT. I enjoyed the opening segment. I don't know if you did. I thought that it was nice to see some of the old talent actually interacting with the new talent, and then going back and actually, involving that storyline with Randy and the Miz a little bit more.
Yep.
I have a feeling the only payoff there is going to be the Miz getting thrown out of the Royal Rumble by Randy Orton.
I think they're going to end up in a match.
So Ray Phoenix versus Trick Williams. Man, wasn't it just like 6 months ago that Ray Phoenix was like the hot new thing?
I think he still will be. I think right now because Trick, they're not going to let him lose his first match.
Not unless it's by disqualification on his own accord.
And I think that Ray Phoenix was a good person for him to have that match with, because Ray made him look like $1 million.
I agree, especially when you have Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles on the other show. You're right.
I mean, he's one of the Lucha Brothers. He's Penta's brother. I mean, they are. I mean, he's good.
They're solid salespeople. Absolutely. Julia versus Alexa Bliss. Backstage, Alexa Bliss is on the phone with Charlotte Flair, who claims to have an illness. Michael Cole then sits there and says that a bunch of them are dealing with a super flu, which is why certain people aren't supposed to be there, like Johnny Gargano. But we'll get to that in a couple minutes. Julia defeats Alexa Bliss. But it was because she got distracted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Julia and Kiana James had a quick interview backstage, blah, blah, blah. They're hyping the U.S. title match. McIntyre and Damian Priest had a short confrontation backstage where Damian Priest pretty much says, I don't care who wins the match. Just remember what happened the last time I faced you, Drew. So And Bliss sold the stiff knee from Julia well. I absolutely agree. There were some moves in that where I was like, Alexa Bliss can have a broken nose after this match. MFT versus Wyatt 6. We've wanted this match for 6 fucking months, Tino. Did it deliver?
I think it delivered to continue the storyline. They fucking stole the Undertaker's urn. I mean, they stole the lantern. So it was good. It was good for what it was intended to do.
I did find it funny that Solo stole the lantern, and if you follow any of Solo's social media recently, like he is just all over the place with some of the shit that he says. Like he actually said one not too long ago where it was whoever's packing the avocados, I've got enough of the wooden balls already. Can I get a new toy?
The fuck is wrong with him?
I don't know, but he's so good with some of that shit, man. And it unlike anybody else, where like Becky Lynch is all about like her title and how she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time and everything. Like Solo's is just like random weird shit, you know. I agree with you though that the that this match was good about keeping the storyline going. I also liked how it ended, where it wasn't Solo getting the victory, it was actually Tama Tonga getting the victory. Nick Aldis books Jordan Grace in her first SmackDown match because, as we mentioned, Jordan Grace is now part of the SmackDown roster.
It's all the fire.
And you know, when Jordan Grace went out there, she ends up getting confronted by none other than the injury machine herself, Jade Cargill.
Jordan's going to get that belt. She didn't get the NXT championship. I think she's going to get that belt.
I find it interesting because I do think that she's one of the few competitors that upon entry can immediately go after the top title. You know, obviously Obafemi, I feel the same way, but I think they're going to hold him off and probably have him dispose of local talent for a couple of weeks before they do anything else. You know, like do the whole I'm going to beat 2 guys at one time bullshit like they did with Braun Strowman.
I hate that.
So Jordan Grace defeats Alba Fire, mediocre match, but again, what happened after the match is what made it so important. We get the stare down and the anger of Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
Carmelo Hayes runs into Ilya Dragunov backstage, and he's like, "Hey, I'd love it if you want to." For the second week in a row, he's like, "I'd love it if you want to be the contender for the title." And for the second week in a row, Ilya Dragunov goes, "Nah, I got bigger plans. Sorry."
But you see, when he went in the office, and Carmelo went, he don't want no more smoke.
Right, but isn't it still kind of bullshit that like Dragunov drops that title and then he's like, "Nah, I don't want to do this."
I think it's along the Stone Cold here. I'm done with this, because if you notice, he's in that gauntlet to go for the world title, the number 1 contender. I almost think they might be. I wouldn't be surprised if, maybe not this time around, but I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Dragunov held that title.
So I have to say that the next matchup was Carmelo Hayes in his U.S. title open challenge, but at the same time, the opponent was shit. I wanted to say Shitstain Nakamura because
Go ahead.
Shinsuke Nakamura. But did you get the text message I sent you the week before?
Mm-hmm. And I'd seen that before. I'd seen somebody that said that on same thing on TikTok. Like but somebody, and I don't know if you.
Well, I got it. I got it from a deep inside source.
And somebody has said on TikToks, like they translated the Japanese that Shinsuke said, and so it's like, aren't you tired or whatever? And so I think they're saying that Tama Tonga is probably going to split away from the MFTs.
Well, so for those that don't know, Shinsuke Nakamura and Tama Tonga have a long history from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he basically said to him, he basically said, "Aren't you tired of being like secondary to someone else? But just so you know, if you decide to go after one of those titles, you're gonna have to go through me. And of course, Tama was like, yeah, okay, dog, whatever. And then Solo's like, what was that all about? And he's like, nothing, don't worry about it.
Yep.
But my point to you was that 30-second segment that they called Shinsuke Nakamura in to talk to Tama Tonga was so that he could not fly to Wrestle Kingdom in Japan to see his best friend wrestle his final match.
I think that's dirty and bullshit.
It is dirty and it's bullshit. And I have to commend Takeshita for what he did, because he actually wore one of Shinsuke Nakamura's armbands at Wrestle Kingdom, and he said, because not all of us can be here, we all have to represent. And I mean, that's tradition. That's the love of the industry, right? What I don't like about this is this sounds like it's more Triple H than it does anybody else in WWE, because what would it have done to let Shinsuke Nakamura, who hadn't been seen since November, go to Japan for a weekend to watch his best friend wrestle his final match?
Nothing.
Now, granted, I'm not saying Triple H lets him show up on New Japan World programming or anything else, but New Japan isn't anywhere near what it was 5 years ago in terms of popularity. So if he shows up and they let him show up, they're not hurting any other relationship. It's a one-off deal that you're just letting your top Japanese wrestler sit there and say goodbye to his friend. And then, come to find out that WWE offered contracts to multiple New Japan Pro Wrestling guys this week, and they all turned them down. And you want to know why they all turned them down? If I had to guess, it's because they don't have a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That and that bullshit he pulled with Shinsei.
Yeah, 100%. Carmelo versus Shinsuke. A-.
Good. I thought it was a good match.
Absolutely. It was nice to see Shinsuke Nakamura be able to have a match with a quality talent that could actually keep up with him. And we're talking about one of the older guys on the SmackDown roster when I say someone keeping up with him.
Yes.
Right? A little bit harder hitting than what you're normally expecting from Carmelo. But I was totally okay with it. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, 3 stages of hell.
I just want to know why Cody kept biting him.
I mean, he wanted some of that meat.
And then Drew's like, I'm gonna bite you back. I think I sent you a TikTok. That shit was funny.
I did notice that when they were in the cage match, when Cody went and started biting him, that when Cody did exactly the same thing, Drew bit him in the exact same spot. It was like, what the fuck's going on here? Why are they biting each other? Like that's not very manly.
It's kind of like I used to do with my kids when they were little. You bite me, I'm gonna bite you back. You bite me on my arm, I'm gonna bite you back on your damn arm. Ah.
I mean, that is kind of what it felt like. What did you think of the match? I felt like it was long.
I fell asleep on it, but I was tired.
Long.
Yeah, I was tired when I was watching it.
Well, that's part of the problem with the 3-hour SmackDown, right? And the last hour was commercial free. So I mean, the 3 stages of hell match was like 35 minutes, and it was long
as fuck.
Yeah. I think I fell asleep at one point in the middle of it, but I woke up for the end. But
I had to rewind it. That's what I woke up and Fatu was in the ring fucking people up. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? So I had to go back and rewind it.
Well, so yeah, I wanted to get to that, but like they do this thing where Cody now has to do 3 crossroads to win a match. And he got through 2, and then he pinned Drew, and Drew still kicked out at 2, and then stood up immediately.
Yeah, no sell.
And I'm like,
he's like Al Snow selling Lazy Boys.
Al Snow can't sell chairs.
Yeah.
And like you said, they finally got to the point where Cody couldn't stand, and Drew is dragging his soggy ass over to the damn door. The door opens up, and Jesse Ventura's probably sitting there going nuts somewhere. Oh, you can't go be doing that there. The fact that he can win a match just by crawling out, what kind of crap is that? You know, I was a frog man back in the day.
Doing over an hour and a half. Shut up. Let's go.
So, anyways, just as the door opens up, Jacob Fatu comes out, and Drew McIntyre's like, "Oh fuck!"
And tries to run away.
Tries to run away, gets beat down a little bit, but then Jacob Fatu turns his attention.
Well, because Cody tried to pull him off. And then he turned to start whooping Cody's ass. And as
he didn't stop whooping Cody's ass.
And while he's whooping Cody's ass, Drew said, "I'm out this bitch." He got out the cage.
Just crawled his way out. Drew McIntyre knew in the most pussy way to win a world championship.
Hey, he said by any means necessary. He pulled a damn Farouk and all that. What was it? What was it? What was Farouk and The Rock and all them? What was that?
Nation of Domination?
Yeah, he pulled a nation by any means necessary.
I mean, and you know what? For Drew's character, it works. It works. But it still makes me angry because it kind of feels like they bitched his character as well a little bit, you know?
I think he's going to be a chicken shit heel champion.
Which is weird because he's the biggest guy on the roster. Well, so I have one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to what's up?
If they'd have done it right and put Obafemi on there, he wouldn't have been.
Now, see, this is where you told me just a little while ago that you heard Obafemi's going to Raw. This is why I think he's going to SmackDown. You put the title on Drew McIntyre, and it opens up a brand new feud already because they've already started it.
That's what I'm saying. So we'll see.
We will see. But here's what I want to talk about. A couple weeks ago, Johnny Gargano backstage all by himself. Like just poof, Tommaso gone. What the fuck?
I don't know what they're doing.
I was talking to my inside source, and he's basically like,
Sorry.
What the fuck was that?
I hit a wrong button.
But, I was talking to my inside source, and he basically was sitting there saying that he doesn't know if Tommaso's actually leaving, if he's just not signing a new contract right now. Because you and I already know this, Tino, that Tommaso Ciampa is a huge family man. And when he was in NXT, he loved just being in NXT because they didn't travel. So he never had to go anywhere, so he could always be close to his family.
Yes.
Well, as soon as he went to the main roster, you got to travel anywhere they go and everywhere they go. So you don't get to see your family. And at this point, I think Willow's like 4 or 5. So we're at a point where,
you don't want to do that.
Well, so what I wonder, though, is if he does like what Johnny did, where Johnny was, he got released, but instead of taking bookings and going anywhere else, he waited for them to call back, and then he showed up 6 months later. So I wonder if he takes half a year off so he can actually witness his daughter going to school for the first time and all this, that, and whatever, and then makes his way back. But at the same time, he's somebody that I would have absolutely been like, why not just send him back down to NXT? He probably sit there and say, I'd absolutely go back if I was going after the NXT championship and, I was putting people over, but I was doing it in a way that was actually like grooming them for the main roster, kind of like Shawn Spears. I don't expect Shawn Spears to ever be on the main roster because I don't think he wants to be on the main roster. I think he loves being an Orlando guy who has to travel like 5-6 times a year when they go out. But otherwise, he's perfectly happy training and doing everything else down in NXT. Because, he's obviously also one of the producers down there.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. ever since him and Tyler Breeze started their school and everything, like I think they have flatbacks. I think that's their school.
Mhm.
But like with Tommaso, I wonder if they had offered him that opportunity, if he would have said, "Yeah, I'll do that. Give me a couple months off, and I'll re-sign just to be with NXT. We'll run back a Goldie storyline or something, and then after that, I just help put people over for a while. Like he's no spring chicken. He knows his bump card's full, but I mean, what's that?
He's not the bump machine.
No. And in fact, I don't know how many Nick Nemeth still has on that bump card, man. Like I think he borrowed his brother's bump card. So he had 2 of them, but even that at some point you're gonna run out of bumps you can give, So I don't think I have anything else. We talked a little bit about Cardona. And this is just real quick. Obviously, TNA starts on AMC this week.
Is that this
Thursday,
week?
9 p.m. And Frankie Kazarian came out this week in an interview and kind of mentioned the same thing that I'd already mentioned, where he says he doesn't want to see the 6-sided ring come back unless it's for like a one night only special pay-per-view event. And I'd be okay if they did 6 sides of steel night or whatever,
And that's AMC, you said?
AMC, 9 o'clock Thursday night. And Tino, even though we weren't here for 2 weeks in a row, I'm done under 2 hours.
Barely. But yeah. It's like we get 10 minutes. You almost made it. 11 minutes. All right. Thank you for coming out, y'all. You can catch me on the Insta, SCTino. I am also on Blue Sky. I am on the TikTok, Tino R. Gray Music. You can catch us on X. We are Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. Each and every week, we're right here on the Pots and Pan Network, 7 p.m. on a Monday. Please make sure you like, subscribe, give us thumbs up, buy our shit. Thanks to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song. You can get that on iTunes for 99 cents. 99.
Even though we don't use it anymore.
Yeah, you said still plug them. So
yeah, I also want to go ahead and plug Angry Lemonade, my buddy Junior Bruce's company, because he may start making some merch for the Potsy and Tino Show.
Oh, cool.
So, folks, also, obviously we'll be back next week. We will start preparing our Royal Rumble talk. Interesting to me that nobody has already announced themselves for the Royal Rumble yet this year, because normally they start doing that in November.
Probably start soon.
Yeah, I would assume on SmackDown we'll get the first announcements for who's going to be in there.
Maybe even tomorrow.
What, at NXT?
Possibly.
No, NXT you typically get the 2 champions, and that's about it from there. But maybe 1 or 2 others. But hell, they're all going to be on the main roster at this point, so who knows? So, folks, Tino just mentioned where you can follow him. I'm at Rob Pochak, at Rob Potsy Pochak, or on Twitter at Pochak. Follow us everywhere. Like our stuff, buy our shit, like he mentioned. We didn't throw a Jones in there at all, but folks, it's been fun. It's been real fun, and we will be back next week. Thanks so much.
Deuces.
Jones.
Ready? Noise. Notice you should be in Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
Thanks for watching.
Monday night, it's time to go. Turn on the screen, let the good times shows. Wrestling life and who knows what. If it's cool or weird, they're talking it up. It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Drop the facts and let opinions